who's got two thumbs and is 2/3 of the way through Gardens of the Moon, my first foray into the Malazan series. It's me, by the way. One thing I love about this, there is no clear hero. Your hero is just whoever you really like in the book. I think that's awesome. So I picked my A-team, and I want to talk about it because I am positive if I revisit this video later, I'm going to think about my A-team and be like, girl, what was wrong in your brain at that time? Animander Rake, Ganos Perrin, Tattersall, whatever her name is, Dujek One Arm, and Whiskey Jack, A-team. Are any of them working towards the same end? No. Are they ever going to actually team up? Literally never. Do I care? Not at all. I'm sure someone has a visible vein in their forehead from that A-team list, and I don't care. It's my A-team. Get your own A-team. And honestly, I also feel like my A-team list is list of people who have antagonized Tatrin, and I'm like, yes, if you antagonize that man, you're on the team. Opon, you saucy little minx, you picked a side, and I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's probably bad for someone on my A-team. And look, I know that this is a wild thing to say. I want a hound. I think I could pet them. I could change them. I could fix them. If you really liked choose your own fantasy adventure books when you were a kid, I feel like Gardens of the Moon or Malazan in general is definitely right up your alley because you kind of pick whoever and root for whoever. It is a choose your own adventure book, just like a linear choose your own adventure book. Also, it's teaching me that I root for villains a weird amount of the time. I mentioned this in a different video, but I have recently read older and newer fantasy series back to back, and I feel like it's given me a different perspective on how fantasy used to be written versus how it's written now. Older fantasy, it used to take a lot more time to set up your understanding than newer fantasy does, I feel. So newer fantasy feels a lot more rooted in the characters. The way that I phrased it before was it takes you into the torment of this character before it gives you an understanding as to why they're being tormented, if it does at all. A lot of modern fantasy really jumps into the character work and it forgoes the why. So we get the feeling. It's really leaning on our feelings first, and our understanding is really tertiary to that. But older fantasy really prioritized our understanding first, and then our inner torment second. I also feel like that shift is really indicative of society as a whole now, because we are much more internally focused now than our parents' generation used to be. We focus on understanding ourselves, our motivations, our own experiences. We really care a lot about our personal experience within our society, whereas our parents were also in this constant generational upheaval and change, and tech was moving everything so fast that they were trying to constantly reconcile society and understand society better. And you can see that shift in how older fantasy is written with understanding prioritized, whereas modern fantasy is written with feeling prioritized. We're about to go into the Gadrobi Mountains and find a rock, which is a very interesting mission to send people on into the mountains. Nevertheless, we continue.